And I heard that you are also a diving lesson person.
I'm an advanced dive rescue, yeah. Well, I've been doing stunt work for 36 years. I jump out of buildings, I crash cars, I get lit on fire. I kind of do everything from not just stabbing people, but have a chance to double a lot of different actors. George Clooney, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who's Negan on Walking Dead, and lots of different characters. And I've had a very blessed life doing it. It's been my only job I've ever had. So it's a fun job to have. So yeah. Anyway, I was born in Hollywood, California. One of the few that actually is in the business born in Hollywood. Grew up in Orange County, and now live in Louisiana for the last 13 years. So I'm on the North Shore of the Pontchartrain, Lake Pontchartrain over in Mandeville. And so I'm over there. Cool.
Let's start with a big round of applause.
Yeah.
Who wants to start? Who's got the first question?
What was your favorite stunt to Scream 3?
Favorite stunt on Scream
Yeah.
3? Actually, I don't think it made the movie, amazingly enough. My favorite part was when Courtney Cox was on the bed when I was chasing in down the hallway and chasing into that bedroom that had all the windows in it that were see-through. She jumps up on the bed and she grabs a vase. And I turn with my knife to jump at her, and she throws the vase at me, hits me in the head. It's a breakaway vase, and it doesn't break. Tink! It's crossed a little bit, and Wes Craven's like, "Stop! Okay, cut." What's happening there? And the special effects guy comes over and goes, "It's a breakaway. I don't know what happened. It happened to hit just perfectly on the bottom." And she's like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And I'm like in the mask, just going, "It's fine. It's fine." Gives her the vase back. All right, take two. Same thing happened. Oh my God. And I'm like, oh, that hurt so bad.
Hazard
Three
pay.
times. Hit me 3 times with this darn vase. The 4th time it broke finally, and it didn't make the movie. Maybe it didn't make it because it really hurt me. I don't know why. I had this egg on my head for quite a little while. It was sitting on my forehead, so that's probably one of the most fun. Just because it was, everybody just, after a while, you just laugh it off because there's not much you can do about it. And they kept thinking it was going to break, and Courtney was so sweet the whole time. So that was fun. That was cool.
Were you flinching by the 4th one?
Actually, no, I did. I put a knee pad underneath the neck. The 4th one did break, fortunately, but I didn't feel any bigger, which is good. I should have done it on the 2nd one. Yeah. But yeah, now I have 7 confirmed concussions though, so which poor early. Happens a lot. Yeah, I don't think I have cows.
That's my new question.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go,
yeah,
he cows.
What else?
Who's the favorite person that you've worked with? Like the most interesting person that you've worked
Out
with?
of all the shows or just on that
Just
show?
out of everything.
I really enjoyed working. I doubled George Clooney for quite a few years. I did the Ocean's movies and Good German and things like that with him. And the fun thing about George Clooney is he's a clown. So everything he does is with Steven Soderbergh, he'll walk up, the director, and he'll walk up and he's gone to hair and makeup. And he grabs the squirt bottle that they use for your hair for the water. And he'll walk over and stand for a second, please. This is Steven Soderbergh. And he'll walk up and go, "Steve, what's the next thing we need to do? We need to do something." And he's literally just soaking his crotch. And he's like, "Thanks so much." And he walks away, and Steven just has no clue. And he's just standing there until, "Oh, man." And he's a prankster. And that was a lot of fun. And of course, on the Ocean's movies, everybody, Brad Pitt, all the whole crew, they all just laugh with each other all the time. So that was a lot of fun. That was enjoyable.
What was it like working with Wes Craven? What was it?
Amazing.
What was that like?
Amazing. Wes, unfortunately, he wasn't that old when he passed in August of 2015, I think it was. He was a visionary, number one. He loved what he did. He loved the genre. He loves horror film. And everything he did was smiling and having fun while he did it. It wasn't, he didn't treat it like this is work. He just said, let's have fun making a film and make people laugh and make people get scared and have some jump scares here and all that kind of stuff. And he would edit in his mind, which is one of the favorite things I love about directors. as you can edit in your mind, so you're not taking take after take after take after take of the same thing. So it keeps it fresh. And that was wonderful about it. And it was easy to work with on set, which is great. And good direction for everything we did. So every time, you know, I'm in the costume, he was aware also of what we were doing. It was hot. Many times we were in locations where you're under all these lights and things like that, and you're sweating in this costume. And you get to a point where after doing fight after fight, you're tired. So he was always aware of that as well, which is helpful. Yeah. What else? We had knives. We had 6 knives on my show. We had 3 stunt knives and 3 practical knives. That was a little thing people don't know because you go through knives all the time. I don't know. We had all kinds of different fun things that we did on the set. So.
What's the scariest thing that you've ever done?
Ooh, good question.
Second divorce. Scariest. I had to jump out of a 15-story window on Red Dawn on an 1/8-inch wire, and I was jumping from 15 stories to a lower platform on the far side, and literally had to make it to the other side, or I dropped the 15 stories. There's no safety underneath. Yes, it will eventually catch you, but at 15 stories on an 1/8-inch cable, it's tech line actually, there's a lot of chances that it'll snap. So you just make sure you make it. And we jumped 4 times. And the 3rd time I almost missed. I literally caught the edge as I was going down and scraped up my leg really bad and got over the top. I'm in full gear with a sniper rifle and was able to roll out of it. But it actually worked out just fine. So, all worked out. I jumped off roller coasters. There was one I had to run around the outside of the building from 6 stories up, and you know, on certain buildings they have little rain gutter things that they're like 2.5 feet wide cement things that keep the water from going straight down. And I had to jump over a balcony and run around the edge of the building, and no safety net, no nothing. And after I was done, I was like, it was like this, if you fall, you die. And I wasn't thinking that while you're doing it. When they say rolling and, you just change, your mind changes, and you just do it. So it's something that you don't think about it. And then afterwards, you think about it. You don't make me do that again.
Has there ever been a stunt you said no to?
That was a great question.
Yeah,
You're stumped.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I can't think of one. I was very blessed my whole life growing up before I got into stunt work. Precursor was I got to work out with the U.S. Olympic team for gymnastics. And then a year later, I was with the U.S. Olympic judo team. And then almost a year and a half after that, I was downhill giant slalom with the U.S. Olympic team. Don't know how it all happened. They didn't know each other. I just was in the right place at the right time to work out with all these guys that were doing these things. And then I started racing the Formula Ford race cars, and I raced jet skis for a few years. And I don't know how, I just kind of got in the right places at the right times. And then my friends were Navy SEALs at the time, so that's how I learned all my rescue dive, my advanced rescue dive stuff, and was through the SEALs teams. And I was never in the teams. And thank you anybody that's in the service, because I was never in the service. I just truly enjoyed being shot out with blanks. So didn't want to be shot out for real. But they all trained me how to do all that stuff. So I was really fortunate to be in the right place at the right time to be able to do a lot of stuff. So I don't recall saying no to pretty much anything. So, yeah, good question, because now I have to think about that one. I can't remember. Yeah. Anything else?
Did you keep any of the screen costumes or the screen masks?
No, they would not let you. NDAs are massive on these shows. You're not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to talk about who the killers are. You're not. I mean, family doesn't even know. I mean, you can't tell anybody. Everything's in lockdown. Costumes, masks, especially, and knives. They would be the first things that people would want to take. No one's allowed to take those things. So You can go to your local store and buy stuff that's very similar, but yeah, no one was allowed to take any of that stuff. And as much as we wanted to and asked after the show was over, they already knew the franchise was going to continue. So they recycled a lot of our costumes into the new shows. That was the other thing too. I did Scream 3, for instance. Scream 1 had 2 Ghostface on it. And Alan Robinson and Dave Farwell are friends of mine. And they ended up doing Scream 2 as well with 4 more guys. So there's 6 all on one show. They used 6 different Ghostfaces on Scream 2. And they just recycled them through different stunts, doing different things. Then we got to Scream 3, and unfortunately they changed the entire script because of Columbine. When Columbine happened in 99, and then that big shooting that happened, there were scenes in our script that had to do with high school. And they couldn't put it in the script, so they rewrote everything. So we started in 99, and we didn't finish until 2001, almost 2001. So the whole thing lasted a long time. So anyway, I don't remember what the question was now, I just lost it. Oh yeah, keeping this stuff. Anyway, so that all being said, each Ghostface, we'd love to have kept them, and each one, there's been different ones, but they just keep pushing them off, and they keep those all under lock and key. So, yeah.
How does one audition for a Ghostface? Like, how do they decide, okay, we're going to call you, or they're going to call?
There wasn't really an audition. The stunt coordinator, Rick Avery, on my show, he and his son, Brian Avery, Brian ended up doubling also. So that was the 2 that we had, were Rick Avery's son and myself. And when he called me up, it's because I have skills that they were looking for. And that's really all it was. That's how most of our job is done with stunt work also. So fortunately, I'm called when they need somebody that go, we need to flip a car. Let's call Jeff to do that. Or light somebody on fire, but I know how to do all the prep work for that as well as be lit on. So maybe I'm not being lit, but I know how to do the safety and prep work for it. So because you do it enough, they'll give you a call and say, hey, come on in, help us out with this, or do this part of it, or fall out this building, or whatever it is. But that comes from just the years of doing it as well. And in that case, Rick already knew that I could fight really well. I don't mind heights. I don't mind doing any of the stuff that they asked me to do. And I can rig. So and a rigger is slightly different than a stunt person also. So I can throw up shivs and pulleys and lines and fly people and pull people through walls and things like that. So because I could do that, I also do it myself. So I was able to double duty. So I would go in and rig things up to pull somebody across the ground or flip somebody over, whatever it was. Throw Tyson off the balcony, that kind of stuff. So we would rig all those things. So he knew I could do both those things, so that's how I got the job in that case. And I had just worked with him on 3 other shows, so Rick's like, hey, let's bring that back in. So that helped.
For all of you.
Yeah.
All your sons.
Yeah.
Like,
What
if you kept something every single show every week, and then you'd be on another show called Borders.
I'd be on Borders, yes, I would be on Borders, I think.
Is there anything that you ever wished you could have kept?
Oh, well, yes, the Ghostface Mask would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be great. I did keep a couple of things, but it wasn't that I kept them, it's that they gave them to me.
Did he get to do the part
So I
with the
got a couple
tiger?
really nice
The tiger was electronic.
dive watches and things like that from a show called The Courier that we did.
That was a-
We get gifts occasionally at the end of the show, so you get jackets or hats or sweaters or things they call swag, and so you get all these kinds of things as well. So early on, like movies Jade, we had these nice suede jackets. Sometimes they do full leather jackets. Or everybody knows Keanu Reeves used to give his crew. I mean, he doesn't used to, he still does. He'll give everybody a motorcycle. Or Adam Sandler gave his main guys cars. I mean, it depends on what the show is and how big the show is that you might get like a decent something at the end. Unfortunately, stunt guys, we get not always looked over, but we work on a lot of the show, but we don't finish the shows. So sometimes we'll be there for 6 weeks, and the show has 2 more weeks left, and then we leave, and then they have the wrap party 2 weeks later, and we're already on another show, so we don't get any of the stuff. Which, I mean, it is what it is, but it's we're just happy to work on the show.
Sure.
which is great. So, but yeah, there's times where you walk up to somebody that worked on a show that has something really cool, and you're like, I didn't get that. Why do you have that? And it was crafty, and I'm like, I just did so much on this show, and craft service got that cool jacket. But it is what it is. Everybody has great jobs, and that's the other thing in our business. I appreciate everybody's job. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you take the trash out or if you're the director, because that guy could be the producer now. In this business, everything changes. So just be respectful of everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. And enjoy it. I mean, that's the best part, is have fun in what you do. I loved playing this character. I loved being able to go around and scare people. And we scared people on set anyway. The extras hated it. It's just like you come around the corner and you do the back up, and they scream. And that's the best part. And Wes loved that. He thought that was fun. You know, if you could just play that character and embody it and have fun with it. So, yeah, that was cool. I played a cop once, actually, on a show, which you're not supposed to do this, but I was on Warner Ranch Studios, and I walked across the street to NBC Studios. And as I was walking across the street, at the time, my girlfriend was the page at NBC Late Night, Jay Leno Late Night. And I realized I'm in my cop outfit. And I'm walking in NBC Studios, and here come 3 cops in a plainclothes running at me. And I'm thinking, oh crap. And I look down, and they're like, follow me. And I went, oh crud, there's something wrong, and they're asking me to follow them. I'm playing the cop. I'm not a good cop. I go to jail for what I'm just doing. I'm not realizing what I just did. So I follow them until I know where the bathroom is. I went to the bathroom, and I stood on the toilet, and I called my girlfriend. I said, I'm in the bathroom, please come here. I had my gun on. I looked like a cop. And I play 90% of what I do in this business is playing cop. Almost everything I do is playing cop. Of some sort, a military person or something. Yeah, so it's always that kind of stuff. So, and then water safety, or the Corvettes thing, and all this. We do tons of water stuff. In Louisiana, we do a lot of water work. So, and alligator wrangling and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we have a chance to do quite a few things. Lots of snakes too. Yeah, lots of snakes. Yeah.
Well, hopefully it wasn't too bad, but what's the worst injury that you sustained doing this stuff?
I broke my back getting kicked out of a plane. I was on a movie called The Losers. I was in Puerto Rico, and Idris Elba and Jeffrey D. Morgan, who I was doubling at the time, had a fight inside of a jet plane. And it's on the tarmac. The ladder's down, and it's 9.5 feet from the ground to the ladder, to the top of the ladder, but then you're standing on top of that. Idris Elba had to kick me out backwards, and I did a flat back onto the ground, and I did it onto a 2-inch mat instead of a pad because they wanted the camera as low as possible. And the very first time I did it, I heard my back blow out. I could actually feel my lower spine. And they had me do it again. So I climbed back up, and I did it again. And I just limped away, and then knew that